keep my line no more. Oh, oh, you don't make it ring, 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 ring.
Hey guys, it's Asia, the Princess of Variety, and I am back with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about something that most of you probably already know about. We're going to talk about the situation that happened on Super Bowl Sunday, which was this past Sunday, with Demi Lovato and the 21 Savage situation. And I'll explain for you guys that aren't really familiar with what happened, because I saw it all go down, and yeah. So on Sunday, you know, the Super Bowl was going on and whatnot, and I was kind of looking on Twitter to see what was trending, and this is how I came across it. So basically, trending, I saw something about 21 Savage being British, and there was this one particular tweet that I remember, and it was like how 21 Savage has been writing his verses, or how he writes his raps, or something like that. And then it showed a picture of someone writing with a quill pen, and I laughed. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was funny at first, until I actually read more about what was going on and why he was trending. And then I was like, oh, you know, this really isn't funny at all. Like, I don't know why I get why people are making memes, but at the same time, it's connected to him potentially getting deported. So basically, I guess it was discovered that 21 Savage was brought to the US as a teenager or a child or something like that, and he's actually from England, and ICE is detaining him. I don't know what's going on with the situation right this moment, but I know on Sunday they were detaining him, and he was at risk of being deported. And he has 3 kids, I think. I could be wrong. A lot of the things I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I know he has kids. And when I read about all of this and I actually did my research, I was like, you know what, this really isn't funny at all. Later in the night, I saw Demi had tweeted something along the lines of, the funniest thing about Super Bowl Sunday right now is the 21 Savage memes. That's not her exact tweet, but that's pretty much what she said. And I saw Wale had quoted her tweet, and he was like, you know, what's so funny about someone potentially being deported? Or what's so funny about someone having real life problems? What's funny about that? And I was like, dang, like that's true. It's not funny. It's really not. And a lot of people started kind of going in on Demi, and you know, some people started bringing up her addiction, and then Demi was like, kind of like, oh, you know what, this is why I'm done with Twitter, this is why I don't get on here. She deactivated her page, and she went on Instagram, she posted a screenshot of her tweet. She was like, so I said this, and then she posted screenshots of like all of the horrible things people were saying to her about her addiction. And she was like, and this is what people said back to it. And then she kind of went on and was like, this is why I don't get on Twitter. Like, it's really not funny to make fun of someone like almost dying. And Wale, if you have something to say to me, like, make sure you check your DMs or whatever. I guess she had DM'd him. When I first saw Demi's initial tweet, my initial reaction was like, why would she post this? Just imagine being in a classroom. You're in 9th grade, you know, you're fresh into high school, and you have effed up teeth or something. Something about you is effed up. Let's just go with teeth. And there's this, I don't know, there's this overweight kid in your class. And then there's this, you know, kind of bully on the side, and then they start making fun of the overweight kid. And you, with your effed up teeth, you laugh about it, you think it's funny or whatever. And then there's this, you know, bystander who's just watching everything go down, and they turn to you and they're like, well, you know, your teeth, you have effed up teeth, so what are you laughing at? Like, what gives you the right to laugh at someone's weight and someone being made fun of when your teeth are not the best? And then you get offended. And this is kind of like a comparison that was made on this podcast that I had listened to. It wasn't the exact comparison, but it was something along the same lines. And it was a really good point. I was like, yeah, you know, you're right. And that's kind of why I felt the way I did when I read Demi's tweet initially, because I was like, girl, like, it's less than smart for her to post that tweet in the first place, because Demi just got back on social media. I think her first post was like right before the elections back in November, for the House and the Senate and all that. She had been gone for a while, and it's very fresh on people's minds what she was going through with addiction and things like that. And I'm not saying that it's right for people to be bringing that up, because that's actually really cruel. But when she posted that, that was the first thing that came to my head. I would never say that to her, and I don't think it's right for people to say that to her. And I don't think it's like, oh, funny that she overdosed. But when she posted that, after having done my research about what was going on with 21 Savage, I was like, who are you to talk? Like, you're recovering right now. I get that she didn't mean it in a mean way. According to her, she was laughing just because he's British and no one knew, which is kind of the initial reason I had laughed before I did my research. But I also wouldn't have posted that I thought it was funny on Twitter in the first place. Like, do your research. She has over 1 million not subs, I'm thinking of YouTube. She has over 1 million Twitter followers, millions. She should have known better than to post that, given what's been going on with her. Like I said, I would never say that to somebody, but there are people who will bring up your dirt and be like, you know, what are you talking about? Like, I think it's cruel, but some people don't mind being cruel, and that's what happened. It's just kind of like, why didn't she think that anyone was going to say anything about her? Like, it kind of goes back to the comparison that I made about like kids in a classroom. Like, you know, you're laughing at someone being laughed at, but you have your own issues. Something that really irked me about the situation, this was like the main thing that irked me, were people saying like, oh, like, how dare you guys talk about Demi, like she was only laughing at the stuff that we made. How dare we make fun of her for her issues when we were laughing too, and we made the memes. How are we gonna laugh at what we made? And I'm just sitting there like, so all of us that's annoyed with what she said or thinks that what she did was less than smart made the memes? That doesn't even make sense. I didn't make a meme. I didn't even know what was going on until I got on Twitter and saw it trending. And then I did my research and I was like, oh, this isn't funny. I don't understand why some people grouped everybody together that was annoyed with what was going on and said that we were the ones that made the memes. And I'm sure there were people that knew what was going on from the beginning with 21 Savage and didn't laugh at all. So like me, I said, I admit it, like I laughed in the beginning, but that was before I had actually done my research and I knew what was going on. And I also didn't tweet about laughing because I didn't know what was going on. Like, I'm gonna do my research first. There were some people that knew what was going on from the beginning and didn't think it was funny at all. I didn't think him like getting deported was funny. It was just that one meme I saw that was kind of funny a little bit at the beginning. So I'm assuming that's what Demi thought was funny, but she should have known better than to tweet that. I'm sorry. She should have known better. And for everyone saying that, how dare we be mad at her over something that we made? I didn't make anything. So I don't know what you guys are talking about. Makes sense. Make it make sense, please. And this really, this got to me a little bit, because Kehlani's my girl, okay? That's my girl. That's why she's my intro on here. So basically, Kehlani liked a tweet that said something along the lines of, it's not funny to make fun of someone getting deported or to laugh at someone getting deported, and it's not funny or cool to make fun of somebody who is recovering from addiction. So she was basically saying what Demi did was wrong in a way, I guess. But she was also saying people shouldn't be saying what they said to her. Kind of like what I'm saying. It's kind of like my stance on the situation. And it's like, people got mad at Kehlani about that. It was like, you're shading Demi. How dare you? And then they started talking about Kehlani's unborn child. People on Twitter are so stupid. Like, they're so stupid. They got mad at her and said, oh my gosh, you're talking trash about Demi. You like that tweet that said that. Okay. The tweet was true. So why are you guys mad at Kehlani? The tweet she liked was spot on. So what is the issue here? Demi shouldn't have tweeted that. End of story. And another point that was made in the podcast that I had listened to, you guys should go listen to it. It's called Extra Gravy. It's on Spotify. I don't know if it's on like Apple Music and stuff like that too, but I listened to it on Spotify and it was really interesting. One of the people in the podcast, they basically made a really good point, and they said they feel that people aren't taking 21 Savage's situation as seriously because he doesn't look like your typical ICE victim. So when I think of ICE, and maybe when most of you guys think of ICE, you think of like the Latino kids being detained and being separated from their parents and being put in cages and things like that, like the pictures we saw like last year. That's what I think of as well, but those aren't the only people getting deported and having to go through this. It's anyone that isn't registered to live in the United States. So people are taking 21 Savage's situation as a joke, kind of, because it's like, oh, you know, it's 21 Savage, he's a rapper, he's black, you know, we never would have thought that he was from England, so this is a joke, like, this is something that's funny, this is someone that we know, and we never would have guessed that he was, you know, he was from some, you know, a whole different country. We didn't even know this, so we can make jokes about his situation. But you're not going to see people really making fun of those little kids and, you know, their parents and typical ICE victims, what we see in our head when we think of ICE detaining people. So that was a good point too, and I feel like people should definitely keep that same energy when it comes to his situation as well. Like, imagine him getting deported and being separated from his kids here in the United States. Like, that's really horrible and scary. I just think that Demi was wrong, and that's what I'm standing by. And I think people on Twitter are very stupid, which is why I don't like getting on there half the time, because the whole like, oh, how are you guys gonna laugh at Demi or get mad at her when we made the memes? Black Twitter, that's what they kept saying. I'm like, first of all, I didn't make anything. I don't like that I'm being grouped up with all of this, because I want no parts, okay? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Do you think what Demi did was harmless? Do you think she was less than smart for tweeting something like that, knowing that she has millions of followers, knowing that she's been going through a lot? One more thing another point I wanna make. I kind of said it with the classroom like comparison on that podcast I had listened to, which you guys should go listen to. One of the guys was like, if you think something is funny about someone else, that's fair game for people to say whatever they want about you too. No matter how cool it is, it's like, you should have known it was coming. I don't think people should be saying things like that to her, but I think people had a right to be like, be quiet, Demi. Like, this isn't something you should be tweeting about being funny. What do you guys think about the situation? Let me know, and be sure to like and subscribe. And I always mess up on that part. And I will see you guys next time. I love you guys so much. Bye, guys.